A very good morning to all present here. I am Chirag Kundra, a second year PGP student.
And I am Soumya Sashwati Mahapatra, third year PhD student. And together, we take the privilege of welcoming all of you to the Poms India International Conference 2025, being held from December 13th to 16th, 2025, here at the Indian Institute of Management, Sambalpur. We extend our heartiest welcome.
We begin today's proceedings by welcoming our esteemed guests. We request our guests to kindly come up on the stage. Professor Chandan Chaudhary, Executive Director and Practice Professor, ISP. Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, National Educational Technology Forum. Mr. S.S. Mohanty, CEO and MD, SR Minmet Limited. Professor Sajeev A. George, POMS India Chapter President. We also extend a hearty welcome to Professor Subodha Kumar, POMS President and Executive Director, and Professor Nagesh Murthy, POMS Associate Executive Director, who are joining us online. We'd also take the opportunity to welcome Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, Director, Iim Sambalpur, Professor Kaustav Chakraborty, Conference Chair, and Professor Sandeep Mukhopadhyay, Conference Co-Chair, POMS India International Conference 2025.
Please join us on the dais. To mark the beginning, we start with the auspicious lighting of the lamp, a symbol of knowledge, hope, and new possibilities. We request our dignitaries to kindly join us for the lighting of the ceremony. Thank you, esteemed dignitaries, for gracing this ceremony with presence.
We would now be proceeding with the felicitation of the guest. We would request our Honorable Director, Sir, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, to kindly felicitate our honorable guest for the day and request the guest to kindly step forward and accept the token of gratitude. Mr. S.S. Mohanty, CEO and MD, Chief Guest of the Day from SR Minmet Limited. Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe. Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, National Educational Technology Forum. Professor Chandan Chaudhary, Executive Director and Practice Professor, ISB. Professor Sajeev A. George, Poms India Chapter President. Thank you, sir. The Production and Operations Management Society Conference represent a confluence of global ideas in operations management, supply chain, decision sciences, and analytics. It is an honor for all of us here at Iim Sambalpur to host this prestigious gathering of scholars and practitioners.
Established in 2015, the Indian Institute of Management Sambalpur has emerged as one of the premier institutions of management education in the country, holding fundamentals of innovation, integrity, and inclusion as guiding torches through this journey. We introduce you to the ethos and evolving journey of our institute. We now present the IIM Sambalpur story, a film that captures the institute's vision, milestones, and its unique identity.
In the vibrant canvas of contemporary Indian education, an enthralling narrative unfolds, a saga of institutions not merely keeping pace but leading the global charge. The Indian Institute of Management, IIMs, form an esteemed network of premier business schools in India, celebrated for their academic distinction, leadership development, and substantial contributions to the business and management landscape. The history of the IIMs is an intriguing chronicle that mirrors India's evolution into a global economic force, conceived by visionaries such as Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Sri J.R.D. Tata. The inaugural IIM Calcutta, was established in 1961, forged in collaboration with renowned international institutions like the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and the Ford Foundation. Subsequent years witnessed the foundation of IIM Ahmedabad, 1961, IIM Bangalore, 1973, IIM Lucknow, 1984, IIM Kozhikode, 1996, and IIM Indore, 1996, solidifying the IIM legacy across diverse regions of the country. An institution that is nestled in the heart of picturesque Sambalpur city, boasting a sprawling 200-acre campus that stands as a testament to grandeur and commitment to nurturing future leaders. A name resonating with triumph, achievement, and the promise of a brighter future. Showcasing IIM Sambalpur. Nestled amid the undulating landscapes of Odisha, Sambalpur unfolds as a historically rich town, weaving tales of antiquity and cultural grandeur. The town resonates with echoes of rituals, festivals, and traditional practices that have withstood the test of time. The nascent stages of IIM Sambalpur's new campus heralded a transformative chapter in the institution's narrative, encapsulating a vision steeped in progress and excellence. The pivotal moment materialized on January the 2nd, 2021, as the Honorable Prime Minister of India Shri Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone for the institution's permanent campus. The monumental architectural marvel, constructed with a substantial investment of 401.94 crore rupees, demanded the dedicated efforts of thousands of individuals working tirelessly round the clock. This collective hard work and labor have culminated in a groundbreaking achievement, making it one of the fastest constructions of IIM campuses of this scale in India. Guided by the visionary leadership of Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, the founding director of Iim Sambalpur, the campus represents a seamless fusion of architectural innovation and cultural integration.
Iim Sambalpur, along with 6 other IIMs, were set up by Government of India in 2015. And this was in line with the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, thinks that talent of this country lies in Tier 2 and 3 cities. So, and also the vision of Iim Sambalpur is to nurture responsible leaders with entrepreneurial mindset. Means we want to be an institute for excellence. We create a leadership which are responsible. It is not just creating money, but creating money without damaging the environment. At the same time, captures and include all sections of society that is part of inclusiveness. So this is a part of our vision. And in terms of our mission, we want to create the new knowledge, disruptive methods. We want to disseminate the new knowledge, different methods. At the same time, we want to create impact in society, collaboration with industries and academia globally.
IIM Sambalpur's architectural marvel unfolds as a meticulously crafted masterpiece, boasting a sophisticated 5-layer design that harmoniously blends thematic richness with functional excellence. The first layer, the spiritual layer, draws inspiration from Sambalpuri art and the Institute's core values: innovation, integrity, and inclusiveness, the 3 I's.
Core values of Iim Sambalpur is innovation, integrity, and inclusiveness. That is called 3 I's. And if you see the logo of our institute, is based on these 3 I's. There are 3 lines which are depicted. And these 3 I's have been taken from the ikat design of Sambalpur's art. And this has come from 3 I's means Nor Sajanam Suchita Samavestam. Nor Sajanam means innovation. And innovation is a symbol of Lord Brahma because it creates new knowledge. Integrity, that is Suchita, that is the symbol of Lord Vishnu, which provides how to live life with ethics. And inclusiveness, that is Samavestam, that is the symbol of Lord Shiva, which is inclusive God. And we have derived our logos from these 3 gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. And also it depicts the local art and culture of Sambalpur. And you can see that the color of our logo is blue because we believe in blue ocean strategy, not gray ocean strategies, because we want to create new ideas. And same time, you can see our logos are open both sides. The lines are open, means we are not close, we are infinite in terms of our thinking capacity, in terms of creating capacities.
The second layer, the physical layer, is a comprehensive embodiment of the institution's commitment to environmental sustainability and responsible resource management. This layer exemplifies thoughtful planning and efficient utilization of space. With a prestigious 4-star Griha rating, the campus stands as a beacon of sustainable and eco-friendly construction practices. Embracing cutting-edge technologies, IIM Sambalpur incorporates a photovoltaic solar power plant on the rooftops, symbolizing the Institute's dedication to renewable energy sources. Smart lighting control, movement sensors, solar water heating systems, LED lighting, and astronomical timers collectively contribute to energy efficiency and the reduction of electricity consumption.
The design of Iim Sambalpur campus is very unique. It is a mix of modern technology and contemporary arts, and accordingly, the names of various buildings of our campus also has a very unique historical names. For example, the name of our admin building is called Kotalia. The name of our auditorium, which has got two auditorium, is known as Konark. And the name of our classrooms are called Takshila. And the modern building that is called Incubation Building is known as I2 Hub, the modern name. And therefore, this campus is also known as handcrafted Iim.
To introduce the theme, objectives, and spirit of the Poms India International Conference 2025, we now invite Professor Kaustav Chakrabarty, Conference Chair and Assistant Professor, Operations Management at Iim Sambalpur. Please join me in welcoming Professor Kaustav Chakrabarty.
Good morning and a very welcome to our Director Sir, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, our Chief Guest, Mr. S.S. Mohanty, our special guest, Professor Chandan Chaudhary and Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Poms President and Executive Director, Professor Shubhada Kumar, Poms Associate Executive Director, Professor Nagesh Murthy, Poms India Chapter President, Professor Sajeev A. George, Conference Co-Chair, Professor Sandeep Mukhopadhyay, my dear faculty colleagues, staff members, all participants, and dear students. The Production and Operations Management Society has long served a premier global platform for advancing research and practice in operations and supply chain domain. This year, the conference theme is centered on reimagining the global supply chain through strategic capabilities towards a net positive and resilient future. The theme is both timely and forward-looking. It calls upon us to rethink, to design how global supply chain we can form, govern, and manage, emphasizing the role of strategic capabilities in achieving not only efficiency and resilience, but also we are looking for environmental aspect and societal aspect. The session over the next few days have been carefully curated to reflect those ideas, blending rigorous scholarship of practical relevance. As a conference chair, it's my pleasure to inform all of you that we have received submissions from international scholars as well as from all the IIMs, IITs, and Premier B schools across India. A total of 275 papers were submitted, out of which 257 papers have been accepted and thoroughly distributed across 45 different tracks, reflecting the width and depth of research in operations and supply chain domain. The conference has been carefully structured to ensure the academic engagement and meaningful interaction. The program includes a doctoral colloquium, and here I would like to thank Professor Devjit Ray for chairing the doctoral colloquium session. We also have 6 keynote sessions, keynote addresses by distinguished speakers. We have an industry panel to bridge the theory and practice. We have arranged a session about the Poms journal, and there the participants, they may know how to publish in a top-tier journal such as FT50 or A-Star journal. Also, we have a very engaging fireside chat session, and we have 3 plenary sessions that bring together the diverse perspectives of the contemporary challenges in operations and supply chain management. With this, I once again extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished speakers, guests, faculty members, and participants. May this conference be a platform for insightful discussions, enduring collaborations, and ideas that shape the future of operations and supply chain. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now pause to honor the memory of Professor Sushil Gupta, one of the founding members of Production and Operations Management Society, whose contributions shaped the evolution of operations management as a discipline. Let us observe 1 minute of fond remembrance for the departed soul.
I would request everybody to kindly stand up once. As we move forward, it is our privilege to hear from the visionary leader who has played a pivotal role in shaping IIM Sambalpur's path. A man of innovation and transformation, Professor Mahadev Jaiswal, founding director of IIM Sambalpur. Prior to this, he was professor in information systems and dean research at MDI Gurgaon. His qualifications include PGPX from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, USA, PhD in computer science from Delhi University, and senior Fulbright fellow from Carnegie Mellon University, USA. He's also been conferred an honorary degree of Doctor of Science by Sangam University.
Jaiswal has pioneered flipped classroom learning for all of us and has given artificial intelligence. Yogi?
Well, good morning, and it's my proud. Poms. Have Chief Manti, official, are min for large that world I enable depth content can learn much. That has become adapted. Same time, faster out their market, their business, they are bringing that they can. These are the two for working on bio care, clean energy, order. Same time, we are all startups that in future. Now in India, nations, core of a business, say, all vendors are important. India has become post supply chain and percent global GCC world of IT. This is the best example of supply chain. Here we are working with forum. Part of this, we are building, also trying to come in terms. With this kind of changes, I think right place have making come by Prime Minister, where India is becoming. Of course, it is IT practice and this
Professor, book remains forwarding impactful research.
Thank you, sir. We now connect virtually with Professor Subodha Kumar, President and Executive Director of Poms, joining us online to share his welcome message. It is my honor to introduce Professor Subodha Kumar, Paul R. Anderson Distinguished Chair Professor of Statistics, Operations and Data Sciences at the Fox School of Business, Temple University. He also serves as founding director of the Center for Business Analytics and Disruptive Technologies and directs the PhD program in Operations and Supply Chain Management. A PhD graduate of the University of Texas, Professor Kumar is a global authority in business analytics, AI/ML, supply chain analytics, fintech, and disruptive technologies. With prolific research and leadership in analytics, please join me in welcoming sir. Professor Kumar, the stage is yours.
Joining today. So first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Jaiswal and organizing team, Kaustav and others for making this happen. This great conference, great to see people and all the great guest speakers and the special speakers and panelists and all the students and faculty who have joined from all over the world. So I'll keep it very brief, but I'll say a few things. As you know, this is the first time I'm starting as the executive director role, and Sir Gupta, Sushil Gupta, had been doing it for very, very long time. And he always said that if you can't come to Poms, Poms will come to you. And that was his vision for starting this international conferences along with Professor Nagesh Murthy, who's also here, and help from a lot of people, including people from Poms India chapter. We have Poms India President Sajeev there, and Professor Karuna Jain, who has been instrumental in making all of these happen. So it's great to see that we have a vibrant community in India now, and our goal is to not only bring everybody together for these conferences, but also we want to have top quality research coming out from Indian scholars. And this is only possible if we all work together to make this happen. So at this point, thank you all for joining and welcome. We're looking forward for a great few days of sessions and speakers. I'll be joining again for talking about the journal later, where I'll focus more on what it takes and what about the POM journal, which is the flagship journal of POM Society. With that, thank you again and welcome everybody.
Thank you, sir. For the special address of today, I would like to welcome Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe. He did his BE in Mechanical Engineering and has a PhD from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So the stage is yours.
Namaskar. Very good morning to all of you. It's an exciting time. Dignitaries on the dais, Chief Guest Sri Shashi Shekhar Mohanty, Dr. Mahadev Jaiswal, who has invited me on at a very short notice, and I was in the neighborhood. I said I accepted. Professor Subodha Kumar, Dr. Chandan Chaudhary, Dr. Nagesh Murthy, Professor Sanjeev Abraham George, Dr. Kaustav Chakravarti and Sandeep, who are the chair and co-chair of this conference, and the delegates, as well as people who are presenting their not only papers but keynote addresses from India and all over the world. It's a very interesting place. We are talking about production and operation systems. And this institute itself is probably a case study, because a campus as young as 10 years old looks very matured, and the kind of buildings that have come up, the vibrancy that is there. Yesterday we noted in the late evening when walking around this campus, the infrastructure, the quality of life that is here, and also in terms of the local ethos, culture, traditions reflected on the walls of this particular building. I think these are all fantastic things which have come up. And therefore, and that too at a very short time of within 2 years in a place like this. And that's why this is a novel case study for your production and operation system. It's very, very important. As far as production and operation systems is concerned, my knowledge is very limited to my undergraduate studies in the courses like production planning control, industrial engineering, operations research. These are subjects which we studied as part of the mechanical engineering. And thereafter, in the master's PhD, moved on to some other area of vibration noise control. So my knowledge is limited. I should accept it. But nevertheless, having brought here, I think some of the things which we are going to discuss, they have great relevance to what India is today doing and the vision that we have taken up on ourselves, including Prime Minister and all the people of this country, is Viksit Bharat by 2047. When we talk about operations management, you look at the development of railways, whether it is in terms of airports, road structure, and therefore the entire supply chain which we are talking about and discussing today is all facilitated through these developments of infrastructure development in our country. Those who have come after a long time, maybe after 2 decades, they would probably find that, have we come to India or somewhere else? And that is where we stand up today in terms of both production as well as operations management, be it the colleges and universities like IIMs and IITs which have come up, but also in terms of all other infrastructure that has come. Even digital infrastructure, which Professor Jaiswal talked about, is the one which catapulted us during the COVID pandemic. Many countries, even developed countries, the world had to lose an academic year, but our Digital India mission, which had begun much earlier, and also the what is known as massive online open courses SWAYAM platform, which we had already created, helped us to continue education during that pandemic period with loss of some learning outcomes, certainly yes. Also, some of them were not able to reach out, yes. But by and large, all the universities continued their program with some delay of couple of months, and that no losing of any year. All of you are aware that about 48% of the world's digital transactions happen from India. The famous UPI, where the interface through which, without carrying purse, without carrying your credit card, through the mobile you can make payment anywhere. And that no other country of the world is able to match with what India is able to do. As far as vaccination was concerned, as soon as we came out of the vaccination center, the certificates were on our mobile, the Covaxin app, that is also one of the parts. So you talk about all issues of production and operation management. Of course, production management started in major industries like automotive industry, like cars, and the steel industry. That is anyway taken care of, also mining. But on the other side, as far as the IT and IT services are concerned, there is a huge input required from operation management. The last but not the least, the changing times, post-Cold War era, new things which are emerging, unfortunately, is in terms of disruption in supply chain, especially in terms of our chips. Almost every gadget today carries a chip of different variety, size, and therefore becoming Atmanirbhar in that was very, very important, and therefore supply chain for automotive industry got disrupted post-COVID, and to build it up, we have had now several industries who are setting up not just design, manufacturing, post-processing of the entire software, hardware industry taken together. That is where we lie today. And therefore, I'm sure all these subjects which I just mentioned casually here, you will be discussing at great length and give suggestions and advice for further improvement in the quality of service that we have already rendered. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for joining us. Sir joined us, even though from his tight schedule, he joined us as he's also the chairman of the National Educational Technology Forum, which is the NETF, the National Board of Accreditation, NBA, as well as the chairman of the Executive Committee, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Bangalore. Now, when we move on, it is my honor to introduce Professor Nagesh N. Murthy, Roger Engelman Professor of Operations and Business Analytics at the Lundquist College of Business, University of Oregon. Professor Murthy has a strong foundation in engineering and management and brings decades of global experience combining operations management, business analytics, sustainable manufacturing, and supply chain resilience. His work spans academia, industry partnerships, and research driven innovation with a global impact. We now, in- we now invite Professor Nagesh Murthy, Associate Executive Director of Poms, joining us online to share his thoughts with the delegates. Over to you, sir.
Namaste to all. Jaiswal sir, distinguished guests, organizers and delegates. Just as Subodha said, on behalf of Poms, we welcome you all for a wonderful conference. I'm here in Oregon. Unfortunately, I could not make it, but hopefully next year. As you can see that, Professor Kaustubh Chakraborty and Professor Sandeep Mukhopadhyay have organized a very impressive lineup of keynote speakers, panels, tracks, presentation tracks, and Dr. Consortium, among others. So I'm sure you'll have a tremendous immersive experience. I'll do something now, which typically what Sushil would do. He's the one who always wanted to make sure that in a conference of ours in any part of the world, people knew a little bit more about Poms. I noticed there was a wonderful video presented on the evolution of IIMs in India, which to me also was a very, very nice perspective. I had some perspective, but that video was short, but was very effective in telling us how IIMs have grown for the needs of India. So what I will do is I'll share a few slides of his. They are his slides because whenever he could do it, say, Nagesh, you do it. So I'm thinking that somewhere in the heavens he's pointing to me and saying, Nagesh, you do it. So with that, your permission, I will share a few slides and talk about what he would have said to tell about Poms. I hope I can share my screen. Okay. I won't even try to, put it in full format because I want to save you guys time. So again, this is, can you see my slides, please? Yes? Okay, I'm going to do yes. Thank you.
Yes,
So you can, this is again Sushil's slides. I always say in memory of Dr. Sushil Gupta. What happened here? Something is frozen. Just give me 1 second. So I hope you still can see the slides.
Yes.
So, okay, we'll go down. Okay, the first thing is that for people who don't know, we have a strong history. The society was founded in 1990 by Dr. Kalyan Singhal. And the first meeting was held in Washington, D.C. in 1990. The first issue of the journal came out in 1992. So again, we have a long tradition of, having created a world-class journal. Our membership over the years, since those humble beginnings, have grown up to over 2,400. The numbers can be 100 plus or minus, spanning 55 countries. Our regular membership fees is $160. Affiliate members in emerging economies, we have a lower rate of $25. And it is free for doctoral students and retired members. So I would urge that if there's any doctoral student in the audience who is not a member, become a member. It's extremely valuable for your long-term growth as a faculty. Then in terms of conferences, we have our annual conference every year in the US. Occasionally, we've gone to either Mexico, maybe once, and once to Canada. Otherwise, it's always in US. But, we did a few early on, but over the last, I would say, 10, 12 years or 13 years, Sushil really asked us to put this in high gear. He had a vision, as Subodha pointed out, that if you can't come to Poms, Poms will come close to you or closer to you. We are fortunate that for people in India, it comes close to you. For people in many countries, it comes closer. And this comes in terms of annual conferences, workshops, symposiums, summer schools, and seminars. Every engagement is unique in itself because what we have to ensure every time is that Poms is a certain culture. If you come to the Poms main conference, you know what it means. You You will never feel lost anywhere, even if you come for the first time. You want to make sure that that culture gets replicated across the world. And I'm happy to say that you can see yourself what you enjoy in India, you would enjoy very similar things in other parts of the world. And here's a kind of a list of all cities that we've been to in the US. So we travel quite a bit from east to west to middle of the country. And then if you look at what we have done, primarily maybe since 2012, is we've gone through all these countries, in Europe, a lot of in Asia, and this year, after a very long time, we managed to get to South Africa, we've been to Sri Lanka. So you can see that we try to really find places where there is energy to organize the conference the Poms way, and we've always had a tremendously successful experience. So English is not my first language, so Sheila and I would always talk in Hindi. So here I would say, you know what, Palms conference is like organizing an Indian shadi, except organizing करने वाले लड़की side से होते हैं, meaning that all the hard work goes into organizing the conference and everybody else gets to enjoy the conference in an amazing, beautiful way. So Kostov and Sandeep and all the team have done a wonderful job. I hope you enjoy this conference and have a great conference experience and come to the US for the Palms Reno conference in May. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. It is now my honor to introduce Professor Sajeev A. George, Professor of Operations, Supply Chain Management, and Quantitative Methods at SP Jain Institute of Management and Research, Mumbai. Sir holds a PhD in Industrial Engineering and Operations Research from IIT Bombay, along with an MTech and BTech in engineering disciplines. With over 3 decades of academic and research experience, Professor George is a noted expert in supply chain performance management. We now welcome Professor Sajeev A. George, President of the Poms India chapter, to address the gathering.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Let me extend warm welcome once again to everyone to this conference. It's in fact an honor to stand before you while we inaugurate the Poms India International Conference 2025. In fact, in 22 actually, we met at Iim Kozhikode. Then 23, we had the conference in XLRI in Jamshedpur. Then 2024, it happened. 2024, the conference was hosted by IIM Ranchi. And now in 2024-25, we have the honor to have it in this wonderful, beautiful campus of Iim Sambalpur. So this is such a nice way of coming together. And when you come to conferences like this, of course, we understand that it is not just about exchange of ideas. It is the energy that we see in this kind of a gathering. In fact, I could see that from yesterday itself, where we have the doctoral colloquium and the students here and the MBA students. They have been wonderful. I think the welcome that we get, or welcome that all of us have been experiencing, have been wonderful. So we feel very, very happy about this. So coming to the theme of the conference, as you can all see on the board, it is about reimagining global supply chains through strategic capabilities towards net positive and resilient future. It looks like a long title. And this theme cannot be more timely than now. Right? So when you say reimagining global supply chains, what do you mean by that? Basically, we mean that the world around us has actually changed. That means what we have been doing, or what the models and the methodologies that we have been using in the past, it's all more trying to optimize cost and efficiency and all that. Maybe that is something that we need to reimagine, because the situation around us has changed in terms of maybe the geopolitical situations, or even the climate change, or even fast changing societal expectations. And of course, not to say the least, the changes that are happening in AI and digital technologies. And that is why I think we need to look at things very, very differently what brought us here is not going to further take us further. And that is why we need to think about the two things that we are talking about, net positive and resilient future. Right? So when we say net positive, I think we are referring more towards sustainability. And when we say sustainability, it is about number of elements of sustainability, whether we are talking about social sustainability, economic sustainability, or even environmental sustainability. So that means we have to focus on supply chains. We'll have to focus more on maybe circularity and decarbonization, and also how to enhance the community overall, the social development of the community, and of course, profit maximization, definitely important part of it. So that sense, it is also about resilience. And when we say resilience, it is about how do we anticipate shocks or disruptions, and how do you manage it, and how do you also, how do we bounce back? Sometimes people say, when you say resilience, it is about, actually bending without breaking, something like that. So how do you bounce back? So it's again the changes in the environment also helping us, or it is important for us to develop that capability. And for that, definitely the strategic capabilities. And when we say strategic capabilities, I would possibly think that it is more about how do you have that human and AI collaborations in such a way that we are able to develop whatever capabilities required to manage it in this fast-changing environment. So I don't want to go further about the theme. I think we are going to discuss a lot about that in the today and tomorrow and in the days to come. So before I conclude, I think I'll just say a couple of things about Poms and the India chapter of Poms. So India chapter of Poms is, of course, the mission is very, very clear, is to support the global mission of Poms, and making sure that we develop a kind of a forum so that the POM, the people in the area of production and operations management, they have a forum to come together and share their ideas. So I think that vibrant community, how do you develop here? That is what the main objective of POM India chapter. And we have been doing this annual conference. That is a flagship event. But along with that, we also have a number of other events. I'm sure many of you would have already participated in. We have a doctoral seminar series that is happening. So we have a number of editions of that, which has already happened. So we also have online faculty development webinars. We also have industry panels kind of stuff. So number of different things, and we have more things to offer. I would possibly urge everyone, all the members of the community, to actively participate and also contribute so that we develop a vibrant community in this country, which is not limited to this place. We can also serve to the rest of the world. I think that is what the whole mission of POMS India chapter. So before I conclude, let me first thank the POMS worldwide, or the global POMS leadership, and they have already spoken about this. So I think Professor Subodha and Professor Murthy have been giving us a lot of valuable guidance. So of course, let me also spend a minute for thinking about Professor Sushil Gupta, who has been instrumental in bringing POMS to this level, and the interactions that we had with him. And I think POMS India chapter owe a lot to Professor Gupta for his encouragement and guidance. But coming to the conference here, we are very, very happy that we are able to come to Iim Sambalpur, and I'm extremely thankful to Professor Subodha Jaiswal for graciously accepting to host this conference. And this is such a wonderful experience, and the leadership that you have been providing to this institute, and in such a short period of time, you have taken this institute to maybe a forefront of management education, and that I hope, I'm sure that this institute will go further and achieve much, much higher. So let me thank once again Professor Jaiswal for all his support and encouragement, and all the heavy lifting, of course, we have our Kaustav and Sandeep. They have been working very, very hard for last 6 to 7 months. Lot of work, definitely. And at the same time, they also have a good team with them. So I'm very, very happy that Kaustav and Sandeep have worked very hard to bring this conference to this level, because it requires a lot of effort, and I'm very thankful to all the people in the team, because none of these things are possible without having a good team. And the good thing about Kaustav is he had developed a good team, and I'm happy that the team is working, and we are going to have a interesting couple of days in this conference. So I urge everyone to maximize the experience. I'm sure you will have a lot of interesting stuff here. It is not just limited to the keynotes and the panel discussions and the paper presentations that you have. And a lot of new connections and new ideas can be developed. I think please use the maximum, the opportunity that we have. Wishing everyone a wonderful conference experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing a brief and setting the tone for the conference. We now have the honor of inviting Professor Chandan Chaudhary, a distinguished scholar and renowned voice in technology, innovation, and operations, to deliver special address of the morning. Professor Chandan Chaudhary is Practice Professor of Operations Management and Information Systems at the Indian School of Business and Executive Director of its Institutes for Global Manufacturing and Infrastructure Management. He holds a PhD in Mechanical Engineering from the Budapest University of Technology and Economics, with an extensive career spanning academia and industry, including senior leadership roles in global corporations. Please join me in welcoming Professor Chandan Chaudhary. So we invite you to share your thoughts.
Oh, I'll take it. Yeah, good morning to all of you. I must tell you, I was pretty impressed with the topic which has been selected for Poms. I thought of making it slightly longer, so I added some aspects. And I must share with all of you that the whole supply chain, the theme that you have selected, I think it's an apt theme, with the kind of changes which are happening. They are happening at a great speed. And Professor Jaiswal, I've seen you always keep talking about that you would want your faculty and researchers to pick up topics which can make impact, research topic which can really make impact. So if you look at the supply chain area, we for very long, almost for 30 years, we spoke about offshoring. The focus was cost efficiency. How can you reduce cost? Then after 30 years, you would find there's a lot of discussion happening, especially early 2000, when people started talking about not offshoring, but nearshoring. They wanted to ensure that lead time is reduced. Lead time to deliver is reduced. So the focus was responsiveness. Then we moved from nearshoring to reshoring. I would say it's primarily because of people wanted to ensure that supply chain is resilient. Robots came up, that also reduced the cost of, I would say, hiring expensive people and high productivity. Then from that onwards, if you really look at last couple of years, it all started with Yellen Janet. She spoke about the concept called friendshoring. And in friendshoring, she actually addressed the Atlantic Council. And at the Atlantic Council, she mentioned about friendshoring supply chain. And you got to really look at friendshoring to countries which are friendly countries. Now, I just want to tell you that the topic that you said, net zero, net positive, this is a very important concept. And I know many companies in our country, they are having a tough time to export to EU, because EU has declared that if you're a company and if you meet 2 out of 3 criteria, if you have 250 employees or more, and if you have a turnover which is 40 million euro or a balance sheet total of 20 million euro, if you fulfill 2 out of 3 criteria, then you have to ensure that in your annual report, you report your supplier's carbon footprint. So that has become a big challenge when you talk about optimizing your supply chain, because you have to ensure that you select suppliers whose carbon footprint is low. I would like to share with you that today, many organizations that we are interacting, they are telling us that in the past they could deliver high quality and price which is competitive, and if they delivered on time and in full, if they could do these 3 things, they were appreciated by their customers. But today, customers are asking that tell us what is your carbon footprint. So this has brought about a big challenge. In fact, many people do not know, both in academia and industry, that government got a lot of initiatives, like the concept of zero defect and zero effect. You can get certified, it's free of cost. How do you ensure you produce goods with no defects and with zero carbon footprint? I'd like to share with you this whole concept of scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 has become very, very important. So when you talk about your supply chain, what is the carbon footprint of your supplier has become a very, very important thing. People are talking about scope 3, that is carbon footprint of your supplier. Not just scope 1, which is your direct carbon footprint, not just scope 2, which is about origin of the sources of energy, how much of it is renewable, how much of it is non-renewable. So scope 3, supplier's carbon footprint, has become very, very important. In fact, there are a lot of interesting initiatives by the government, because government has a target to achieve net zero by 2070. And that cannot be achieved by the government alone. Academic institutions, industry community got to work together. And even researchers, they need to really ensure that when they talk about supply chain, you just don't talk about the traditional supply chain, but you talk about a supply chain which is resilient, which is future ready, which is sustainable. And this is a case. I'm happy to share all my slides, which is the story of Schneider Electric. Schneider Electric in Hyderabad has created a supply chain which is not only digital, not only sustainable, but also very, very cost efficient. So I think that's a very, very interesting case. If you get an opportunity, you should visit Hyderabad. This factory was given an award from World Economic Forum, and they have taken sensorization to the next level, and they have taken collaboration with supply chain members, value chain members to the next level, and they believe that if you want to create a really resilient, future-ready supply chain, it is extremely important that you look at your suppliers, not just big suppliers, but also small suppliers, handhold them, help them to enhance their productivity, help them to become more sustainable. Only then you can create a value chain which is resilient, which is cost effective, which is globally competitive, and which is net zero. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the insight, sir. It is now our privilege to welcome our chief guest for the day, Mr. Shashi Shekhar Mohanty, CEO and Managing Director of SR Minmit Limited. With decades of leadership experience in the mining and industrial sector, he exemplifies operational excellence at scale. Mr. Mohanty has over 45 years of experience in the steel industries. Sir is the former director and additional charge of director, commercial, director projects and business planning, Steel Authority of India Limited. Former Managing Director, Bokaro Steel Plant Sale, where under his leadership, BSL became the largest value-added flat steel producer in the country. Chairman Sale and Tata Mining Corporation, former Director of Industrial Development Corporation of Odisha, former Director, Indian Iron and Steel Sector Skill Council Government of India. He has also been the recipient of Platinum Award by the Indian Institute of Metals, Kolkata, Lifetime Achievement Award at the National Metallurgist Awards 2024, conferred by the Ministry of Steel Government of India, and has over 50 technical papers in international journal along with 2 patents as feather under his hat. So we request you to kindly address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you, Professor Jaiswal, Professor Sujat, and Kausab, Chandan, and the co-chairman of the of this conference, distinguished delegates, distinguished representatives from the industry, colleagues from different management schools across the world, and my dear students and colleagues. When Professor Jaiswal, I saw a missed call from Professor Jaiswal. I was at that time in a hospital attending somebody. He said, then I called him back, what is the issue, Professor? I said, you are coming here to, to be a part of us in the Poms function in Iim Sambalpur. I had a lot of, lot of invitation was also there from earlier occasions, but I couldn't visit Iim Sambalpur. But I had a lot of urge inside me to visit this institute, this campus. It happened, it's coincided. Thank you, Professor Jaiswal. And after coming here, I came in the night, but I was seeing in the morning, early morning, I woke up and just took around the campus. So wonderful, so fantastic. Congratulations, Professor Jaiswal. He's a founder, director, made this institute so great. And being a part of Odisha, being a part of this locality, I feel so proud that this type of institute is available. Once more, give a kudos to Dr. Jaiswal. I think all my colleagues in the dais are professors. Many of them are professors. I'm only odd man out here speaking, but I am very happy that of late the government of India has introduced a professor practice. But I'm not a professor practice. I'm practicing professional for last 50 years in this industry, and we are. You just heard Professor Chandan, who is from ISB, and also Professor Sahasrabudhe, Professor Jaiswal, and also Professor from George from, SPJN. I think we all heard about the Poms, and I'm not really aware of the Poms earlier, but though I was practicing it. So I was almost 4 decades in the steel public sectors, and almost now more than 7 years in the private and semi-private, and I am also in steel business for all part of it, all value chain you can beneath. So I was just discussing over in the dais that what do you do if you are not able to produce properly? I mean, how do you not do you get a material also correctly in your place? So with these words, I wanted to speak something from my experiences. And also tell you what exactly we mean at this as a professionals, how important this a part of our priorities. Today, the world is around, if you go to April 25 figure of International Monetary Fund, it is around $117 trillion of economy, world economy. And if you look at it, that all the countries having their largest economy, US, China, and Germany, and all the things. And we are also the 4th largest economy today. And we wanted to, go ahead of this thing with 4 trillion economy. But if you look at the supply chain of every industry or every global, the business or the trade, or you can say the people involved in the global trade, people involved in the supply chain, internally, externally, it will almost, you can say, more than 32 to 35 trillion dollar supply chain economy is what we are talking today. And why, again, Professor Chandran was taking a topic has become so large, but to me it's very simple in the words because we have been operating this industry for last 5 decades. We understand the importance of the supply chain. As a person working from the shift in charge level to the managing director level, we have understood what is the importance of a simple raw material or simple spare part not being available and closing down all the the process. And the the metal industries and mining industries, and also there's so much of, the ecosystem we're talking about, they are integrated so much, in so depth they are integrated. With a small interruption anywhere, the entire chain gets stopped. That is what actually the importance is. I think a lot of models you talk about. In fact, I was also an early operation research student the time when operation research was getting really practice. I'm talking about 70s. So now the young boys and girls are here to understand the models, the simulations, the digital twins. But I just wanted to tell something about the industry that I'm working for it from my experiences. If you take 120 or almost 120 trillion economy, the steel industry comes around 3 to 4 trillion economy. I'm talking about steel. I'm not talking about mining. But if you're talking about the steel as a whole, if you your ecosystem you're talking about, you start from mining. And if today we are producing steel in India, 154 million tons of steel, I think a capacity more than 200 million tons, and still being a net importer, imagine the opportunities and the the future of the steel industry today. We are 150 million, but we are the second largest. Who is the first largest? China. How much the productions? 1,000 billion tons. What is our productions? 150 more billion. So see the gap. I'm not talking about there is a criticism. I'm talking about the opportunity that you have got. Why? Because China is almost coming to saturations. Our per capita consumption in steel today is how much? Almost 98 to 100. What is in world average? 230 kg per capita. What is the Chinese average? 650. China is equally population like you. Don't worry about it. The way once you go there, you'll find out. The word reimagining is real world. I mean, there are some reimagining that we are talking about the whole world, but there is some part of the geography, they have already imagined and executed it. Some part of imagination is always that what you imagine today for you, maybe already somebody has executed it. But if you think of the whole world, we are talking this is a big challenge. When we talk about the whole world, we are not talking about a single geography. We are talking about only our own country. We are talking about the whole geography of the world, where every part of the country will also look for that challenges has to be overcome. We don't want, we certainly there will be a distribution of economy, but certainly I believe the challenges are across the world. Why? Over a period of time, you have just heard, we have really realized, the steel plants coming, waiting for the raw materials. One of the biggest, coking coal we get from Australia, you get from Canada, you get from US, you get from all the parts of Africa and Russia. We do not have a coking coal in our country. The 90% of the steel today are produced for BF fruit for two big steel producing countries. One is China, one is India. Because we do not have much gases, natural gas available with us. God has not been so kind to us. Where you not produce a steel route of a DRI EF route, where DRI is operated through gas. So having said that, steel, I can tell you the ecosystem talking about from mining to steel plant, that is operation, energy, which is coal, which would have to go out from the docks and the iron to steel, and also the manufacturing, that is what about different downstream, and take it to the market, again supply chains. So if you look at it, you are in a boundary of the factories. You have still a supply chain issues, that is the logistic issues. But beyond the boundary, you will find out there is 20 times more different and difficult to manage it out. It is not under your control. And that's what we are here today. A lot of people are also going to present 300 papers. I think last week I was in IIT Hyderabad discussing some of the issues of green steel. When I talk about the green steel and decarbonization, what Professor Jaiswal said, it is also part of us. Today, we are also looking forward to produce how to procure green steel. When you talk about green steel, we do not produce inside the factory. We in fact made an ecosystem which you are talking about. Poms is probably one of the best professional body to discuss on this issue. It is not the production that you're talking about. It's not the route of production you're talking about. It's not how much hydrogen you can do with inductions, you reduce the steel. We are still able to reduce the steel with carbon monoxide. So what I'm telling this, there is change. The trend is being changed from one, the technology to other technology. Today, the process technology is being replaced by supply chain. You can say, you can ask why. Because today, what we have not got, and we are still having a technology to produce it out, we still depend on somebody. If I am not able to take care of all these issues, whether it is my transport or logistic, whether many related issues related to the logistics. There are plenty of things talking about. We talk about in this topic you said supply chain, also talk about capabilities, and also talk about net zero and resilience. As a steel industry engineer, I can tell you about we have been resilient right from our beginning, from the career one, day one. Otherwise, you would not survive so much of, and in this country still become the second largest. Every day of our business, we practice resilience. And if resilience is not there, probably not survive this much. Today, if you're finding 5 big steel industry in the country today, including Steel Authority, where I started my career, whether you talk about Jindal Steel, JSW, JSPL, AMNS, plenty of things, you believe that we are still having a second largest steel producers, and some of the producers still of like Tata Steel and others are still about the world's a good reputed brand of steel in the world. So what I want to tell you is, when I'm talking about the supply chain issues, we are so much worried today because COVID, geopolitical tension, the fast war between Russia and Ukraine. I was in Moscow. I didn't know that the war has started. And we all to talk about what exactly in India we talk about war, and they don't talk about war. They talk about a special operation has happened. So I think this is what, and after that we didn't feel that the war will be over within few days. It is still continuing. So you never know what is predictable, and that's what we were talking about in today's session. We talk about the simulation model predictabilities, and the capability today we're talking about. I think Dr. Jaiswal has mentioned 2 big capabilities you're talking about. One is the digital interventions, or you can say the automation, AI, machine tool, IoT, and we have been practicing steel industry in different levels. Not only in automation in our operations, not only operation in our project management, not only operation in all supply chains, we are also quite advanced and also in our able to operate in a very, very digitally connected world today in steel industry. I believe, I'm talking steel. When I talk about steel, I talk about metals also. I talk about aluminum, I talk about copper, I talk about lead, and talk about the mining like bauxites and iron ores, coal mines, etc. We are all integrated. And that's why the supply chain you talk about. And when I talk about these 4 big issues, geopolitical tensions, pandemics, climate changes we're talking about. Today, climate change, or I can say the decarbonization is not a charity we're doing it out. It is a necessity, other you are out. Sometimes some things come to your life, you believe that it could be, is there any choice? No. Can I do an alternative way? No. What to do? You have to find a methodology by which you have to decarbonize. In what has been approached from operational point of view, I can tell you that we are following an energy transition. Net zero, well and good, 2070, our commitment. Some of the steel industry in the world today, some of the steel industry in India today have committed 2045 as the year. But we always call a process of energy transitions. When we produce a carbon monoxide or carbon footprint of around 2.4 ton per ton of steel, imagine how much you are having a carbon footprint. We want to reduce it to further to come to 0.6. Government of India has now found out a green steel taxonomy. I think if anybody has read out, it's a Government of India rule that if you are producing a 2.2, then 1.8, then 3 stages, then 0.6. These are the 3 stages. You go 5-star, 4-star, and 3-star is basically by which you will be certified, by which you will be incentivized. We are talking about some of the PLI scheme which we are having a decarbonization process. If you are able to implement it out and to certain extent your carbon footprint come down, you'll be also awarded or you given PL incentive schemes. So what I'm telling, there are the rewards or awards, but there are also, I can tell you, how to integrate these issues. One is the operation, one is the supply chain, and all these things with the capabilities, and you get the best part of it, that is your net carbon, net zero, and also resilience. As I said, some of the few examples I will give it to. Today we in fact got around 70 million ton of coking coal for our steel making. Imagine the amount of foreign exchange we spent out. But I can, you'll be surprised to know that we have got 10 billion tons of coking coal is blocked in a Jharia, in our Dhanbad area, which is underground. If you got somebody found from this area, you'll find out every time you'll find some fires coming out of. Because there's a gas there, there's a coal yard burnt there. We are still not able to do it out and do it because we have, there are many other issues talking about. When I talk about supply chain, I'm not talking about supply chain as a technological that you lead it. And I must give kudos to Dr. Jaiswal for a greenfield to making institute. Similarly, think of building a green steel capacities. Today, we are producing 154. We are going to 300 in 5-6 years. We are going to, by 500 by 2047, when we talk about Viksit Bharat and etc. In a centenary year of our independence. What I'm talking about, imagine 10 million ton every year or 20 million tons in a green field, because brown fields are all saturated. So, boys and girls, and also the future, professionals of this institute and my dear colleagues, the few things that we need to work on are basically the time has come for collaborations. You have nothing. If I ask for a coking coal, I don't have coking coal. If I were to produce a steel, I need coking coal. What exactly do it out? The professor was talking about the friendly shore. I think this is what I think we have been all evolved over a period of time. I mean, these are management to learn. We know onshore, offshore, now near shore, now friendly shore. So things we are talking about in terms of a collaboration effort, we need to do that out. Second point is that there is a digital twin method everybody is using out. I think slowly the steel and other metal start following it up, where you find out what best way you can able to efficiently operate it out so that the transition takes place. For example, when we joined the steel industry 50 years back, basically the per ton, we call it a gigacalorie consumption per ton, it's for almost 7.8. Today, you'll be happy to know you're almost 5.6. And there are world averages come to 4.5. So imagine the transition. How we did achieve it through over a period of technology interventions, efficiencies, and a lot of methodological efficiency improvement through operation research, which you are talking about Poms. Now, having said that, a process, a slow process of transition is essential. The company that today I am heading, a mineral and metal division in SR, a group of Mr. Ruyas and Sachi and Ravi Ruyas, a group which is having 4 verticals. An entire vertical, they have introduced one SR energy transition. You can Google out to find out. EET. EET is one of the companies which is the leading energy transition which is introduced in India, and others are following it up, with almost $4 to $5 billion investment in SR generation, where we want to introduce that energy transition every vertical, whether it is a metal mining, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is a technology, and whether it is a power or energy, that means including oil and etc. So a transition has to take place, and supply chain forms a part of it. You just can't, today we're talking about, everywhere. If you're speaking about somewhere, some parts are coming from different local sources. But talking about instrument like a capital good, like where everything comes from different parts of the world. And you need to help to understand that come to smoothly to you and operate it in a low cost. So, gentlemen, what I am talking about, a very, very relevant topic you have chosen. And you have given a challenge to the 300 papers we will publish that we will be discussing on these different challenges today. I was only giving a little bit background that where we stood now, what are the narratives so far, and what are the challenges we are going to face is huge, because if you do not face those, probably you will not sustain. Many of the steel industry today who are there, you will find out, are not existing today. You go to any of the European Union, many of the friends of mine from Professor Business School might have come. Many of the European steel businesses are sinking. UK steel business doesn't exist now anymore. Why? The cost of production is absolutely, they cannot survive, number one. The biggest challenge they're talking about is a supply chain and also the production going green is costly. The amount of the easiness that you are able to follow it is not available. The amount of R&D that you need to do that, it's not taking in that pace that you look for. So that is exactly what I'm talking about. Areas are plenty to deliberate upon and everybody to look into the model part of it. And exactly that is the way we have to work as the industry, academia, research institute to work on this. In year 2014, I in fact as the director of Steel Authority and the board of SAIL, along with the Minister of Steel, started an institute known as SRTMI only to take care of some of the issues like this, a common issues. I named it Steel Research Technology Mission of India. You can still Google it, still find my name there. And today, if you find out new technology being developed, go to South Korea, there is a technology known as, we find out, that time, it was not a blast furnace technology. We take Finex and Corex technology. You know how the technology develops? There is a university known as Postech in South Korea, we might have, a lot of professors might be knowing, including the government of South Korea, who collaborated to develop a technology which is less coal consuming. There is no coking coal required for this. So this is what actually talking about over a technology transfer, need the R&D to do that. Your green steel is a word by which you reach it out through a transition. And the transition requires a lot of support and ecosystem. And that's what we are going to deal with for next 3 days or next 2 days. So gentlemen, I am not going to speak out my experience, but I speak out for a long time. I can tell some of the few examples where I have succeeded. Every steel industry has their own bright spots stood out. And I'm telling, if you are surviving in the steel industry, becoming the second largest steel producers of the country, of the world, and being named also being the world steel today, and being a future, producer and supplier of steel to the world. Think about in 2047, we produce 500 million tons, and 2,500 million tons is the capacity that time the world will produce. Almost a 25% of our will be supplied to the world. We will be the 25% of the steel producer in the entire world, and that too, a carbon free. It is only possible when every, all collaborative effort, every pillar of our, joint efforts. Professor Jaiswal is exactly talking about. Few days back, I was in IIT Hyderabad, and we are discussing about how the research institute and that part of the CI being involved very, very aggressively. CI and also I am also a part of the member of academy and industry interactive where we will do that. Professor Sahasrabudhe was talking about, how about the technological interventions from can take place from our R&D lab and also with the help of the professor of the university, go to the industry and get implemented. It's not a papers. It's not a question of how many papers you produced. And it's how many papers, what you found out, how many have been patented, how many have been produced. That is more important. So with these words, gentlemen, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts with you. And I believe that these 2 days institute, the topic will go a big way to do that. And I think I'll also look forward, maybe my few hours here, look through some of the people's presentations. And I must again thank you, the organizer, giving me an opportunity. And also feel, and a lot of thanks choosing a so relevant and nice topic for this. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring address. To formally conclude this inaugural ceremony, we now invite Professor Sandeep Mukhopadhyay, an alum from prestigious institutions across the country like MDI Gurgaon, IIM Calcutta, and IIEST Shibpur, with a staggering corporate career spanning across 2 decades. Professor Mukhopadhyay has been a torchbearer of impactful research endeavors here at Iim Sambalpur. He's an associate professor, the chair for PhD, and area chair marketing at Iim Sambalpur, and the conference co-chair and we would thus request him to deliver the vote of thanks. So please.
Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion, the successful inauguration of the High Impact Poms 2025 conference. Let me begin by expressing our deepest appreciation to our chief guest, Mr. Shashi Shekhar Mohanty, CEO of SR Minmet, for setting a motivating tone and how industry and academia can collaborate for the greater good of the society. Our special gratitude to Professor Chandan Chaudhary and Professor Anil Shastrabudhe for their inspiring addresses. I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our founding director, Professor M.P. Jaiswal, for his unwavering support, guidance during the last few months, and making such world-class infrastructure available for the conference. We are deeply grateful to POMS President, Professor Subodha Kumar, POMS Associate Executive Director, Professor Nagesh Murthy, and POMS India President, Professor Sajib A. George, for allowing us to host this prestigious event and ensuring that we have speakers who are best in their field. We are deeply indebted to Professor Devjit Roy, Doctoral Colloquium Chairperson, for the excellent panel discussion moderation. Though those are meant for PhD scholars, all of us enjoyed and learned a lot from those sessions. Our sincere thanks goes to all the keynote speakers, panelists, session chairs, paper presenters, and participants who traveled from long distance in spite of the problem created by Indico and others to share their invaluable expertise and research findings. Special thanks to the organizing minds behind this 4-day-long event. An event like this does not happen by accident. It takes dedication, sleepless night, last-minute coordination, lots of WhatsApp messages and Zoom calls. So a sincere thanks to Professor Kaustubh Chakravarti, our very young but capable colleague who has spent many worried days and nights. I think he is happy now. And special thanks to our administration team led by Mr. Amrit Mohanty, who did all the hard work at the back end. And last but the most important, when your faculty sees how their students are performing, it's a great pleasure to say that our students led by the Sigma Totem and the PhD scholars have done wonderful planning for this event, and they are also executing it, I think taking good care of each of the guests. Due to scarcity of time, I am not able to mention all the names, but our deepest gratitude to all of those who have contributed to this wonderful conference. Thank you once again for being with us on this remarkable conference. Hope you enjoy the sessions, have a good time, expand your network, and go back with happy memories. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. With this, we now conclude the inauguration ceremony. We wish you all an enriching and insightful experience over the coming days at the POMS India International Conference 2025. Thank you, and we hope you have a wonderful experience with us. We request all dignitaries, faculty members, and participants to assemble in front of the seminar hall for the group photograph. We request the students to kindly remain seated. Thank you. We'd also request the volunteers to kindly escort the guests outside. Over to SAC.
80% showing me 50 per hour.
Good morning, all. So we will be calling out the name of absentees, the roll call of absentees. So if you are absent, as soon as we finish the roll call, you can come near the stage and we'll mark you. So we'll starting with PGP 1, section A. 1, 3, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 26, 28, 29, 31, 34, 37, 39, 40, 41, 43, 45, 46, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 61, 62, 63, 65, 66, 68, 69, 71, 72, 73, 74, and 303. Anyone from section A have been missed? Okay. Now section B. 77, 81, 84, 85, 87, 90, 91, 93, 94, 98, 99, 101, 103, 104, 106, 107, 109, 111, 112, 113, 116, 117, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 126, 127, 128, 131, 132, 133, 134, 136, 137, 139, 141, 142, 143, 144, 146, 147, 148, 150, 301, PhD 03. That's it from section B. Anyone that we have missed? Section C. 152, 153, 155, 156, 158, 160, 161, 162, 163, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, 172, 176, 177, 179, 180, 182, 183, 185, 187, 189, 190, 191, 192, 193, 194, 196, 197, 199, 200, 201, 202, 205, 208, 209, 214, 216, 217, 219, 220, 221, 222, 223, 224, 225, 302, PhD 04, 310, and 312. That's it from section C. Section D, 227, 229, 230, 231, 232, 234, 235, 236, 237, 239, 240, 241, 242, 246, 247, 248, 249, 251, 252, 256, 257, 258, 259, 261, 263, 265, 266, 267, 268, 269, 272, 273, 274, 275, 276, 277, 278, 279, 280, 281, 282, 283, 284, 285, 286, 287, 288, 289, 290, 291, 292, 293, 294, 295, 297, 298, 299, 300, PhD 05, and 313. That's it from section D. PGP, one can leave. Another BS. So first we are going with management and public policy. So 001, 005, 008, 015, 017, 030, 034, 041, 052, 055, 059,